On October 1st, 1968, a homeless man named Jean Aron, in a dumping yard near Elancourt, at a place called La Cave Bureau, stumbled upon a nylon bag with a decomposed body in it. An identity check showed that the deceased was one Stevice Marković. An affair of the century in France, an affair that shook the very foundations of the Fifth Republic. Paris Match wrote for weeks, the most beautiful and the strongest man in Paris, Stevice Marković, is murdered.
Kakva šteta, kakav Srbija, kakva lepota. Ko će ga zaštiti?
Stevice wrote a letter to his brother Alexander just before he was murdered. If something happens to me, the responsibility is on Alena Delona and his godfather, Francois.
Smatrali su mnogi koji su pratili Delonov život da su Jugosloveni njegova kov.
Always a media target, the irritated Delona said to journalists, "What do they do in Serbia with the dog that bites his master?"
Komesar Rodone me je pitao šta vi mislite o ubistvu Stevice Markovića. A ja sam onako ogorčen, pošto sam znao pismo, sadržinu pisma Stevice, pokojnog njegovom bratu Aleksandru, gde on naveo samo inicijale AD. I ja sam rekao, pa šta me pitate kada znate koga je ubio?
After an extensive investigation in Versailles, the Marković affair was never connected with the murder of Miloša Milošević, Delon's former intimate friend and bodyguard. Maybe it was just a coincidence that the autopsy shows similar wounds from a small caliber gun on both skulls of the two deceased Belgrade friends.
Otišao je u Hollywood, tamo se spanđao sa ženom Miki Runija i onda su ih jednog lepog dana našli u kupatilu, mrtve.
According to the U.S. police report, Miloš first killed Barbara and then himself. But the thorough and doctored investigation missed an important detail. In the bathroom, Miloš wrote on his sock with a crayon, "I'm waiting for them to kill me. Avenge me."
Mislim, to je meni bilo neverovatno. Ja sam poznavala Miloša kao dete i kao odraslog. I ja ne znam nijednog Srbina koji se ubio iz ljubavi. Mislim, malo mi je bilo ono, bilo je malo i smešno, mislim, te reportaže koje su bile u novinama u to vreme.
Neither the servants, guests, children, or numerous guards and maintenance men heard an argument or the shots. The Hollywood story of Miloša Milošević ended in a silence that remained unbroken for more than 40 years. The day after the killing, Alena Delona wanted to see Miloš's body in the hospital morgue for the last time. He identified his friend, took Miloš's bloody shirt, and kept it in the bedroom of his Paris apartment. He paid for a special air transport of the body to Belgrade.
Spominjao se i kum Alena Delona, Mark Antoni, koji se smatra kumom francuskog podzemlja.
Mark Antoni said, "The world loves heroes, even if they're flawed. If I killed Stefan, his body would never have been found. You can't deny that Pompidou would have lost his presidency if Alain and me had answered certain questions. He himself said that he would never become a president if I was a crook. I'm Corsican, but I'm no Napoleon. And still, I saved the Fifth Republic." When Marković's body was found and the case exploded, Natalie soon left Delona and angrily said, "I don't want to see any Serb ever again." 1968 was preceded by a long awakening of the sleepy and decadent Europe on all fronts that became a feature of the rebellious 60s. The student protests that started in Berkeley in 1964 spread to all major universities. Violent clashes between protesters and SERES, the French riot police, were the most dramatic moments for Paris since World War II. The infamous Night of the Barricades featured the most ferocious fighting between students and police. The word solidarité regained its meaning.
Kad je bilo ono za Pompidua, on je bio vrlo prijatelj sa Pompiduom i kaže, ajde pomognite, idite sa komunjerama, razbijete izloge da vidite kako su oni, da kompromitujemo komuniju, i onda mi smo to volili, hvala Bogu.
A to je bio period kada je država Francuska bila stvarno u opasnosti od građanskog rata.
Even the great de Gaulle had to question his political protégé Pompidou about Madame Claude and the Marković affair.
On je imao kameru, imao je apartman i onda kaže, vodi se lepotice na 2-3 kartići, zadužen za tog ministra, ti za to, i onda snime. I mi smo imali te pornografije. Bože, kad bi vi znali da ste videli velike ličnosti te fotografije. Krupne figure su bile najkrupnije što postoje, ali ja ih ne bi pominjao.
The Marković case became the affair of the century through Madame Claude Pompidou. She introduced Stevice into Parisian VIP parties and other gatherings.
Bilo je tu jedna pevačica, pravili su oni neke žurke, znam da se neki crnac tu isto umešao i tu su bile neke pornografske fotografije, Madame Pompidou, taj crnac, ta pevačica, Stevice imao te slike.
Most testimonials indicated that Marković was blackmailing the First Lady with naughty photographs taken right at those famous Parisian parties. Not a single photograph was ever found. When asked, "Do you know Delon?" Pompidou answered, "I think I met him once at restaurant Lazareff." After the case, Chief Judge Jean Patard said, "In this case, there was no way to determine the truth because all of the witnesses lied shamelessly." The grave of Stevice Marković, where his closest friends swore revenge during the funeral, was plowed after a few years because nobody paid any fees to the cemetery officials anymore. So there remains no earthly trace of the famous lover and the most beautiful and strongest man in Paris.